Welcome back to the Breaker Bros. And tonight we're going to, I guess, react to the Bengals offseason so far and a possible alternate throwback jersey leak or, I guess, hint.
Because we know for a fact that the Bengals had never, ever leaked a New Jersey.
I don't think they have. I think that first one was that person selling it on Amazon or whatever.
Well, eBay.
Well, yeah, eBay.
The only thing we almost bought it. We should have bought that.
Yeah, it didn't seem real at the time, and it ended up being legit, which is like the craziest thing.
I don't know. I think if you watch it again, I thought it was legit.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't seem.
Check the archives. If you're watching this, check the archives.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of been the overall theme for most NFL teams. It seems like the jerseys have become a little bit more simpler over the years. But with that said, whenever the Bengals did switch their jerseys, they did get rid of their, I guess, color rush jerseys, the Nike ones.
Yeah.
So technically, they can do the alternate jerseys, and I think they can use another helmet as well. So it would make sense that they eventually do a throwback or possibly a different type of alternate. But I think most fans are wanting the throwback. I was hoping maybe
I don't care about most
early
fans.
90s.
I don't care about most fans. I care about the number one fan. What do you want to see?
What do I? The 90s jerseys.
The 90s jerseys?
Yeah, early 90s, I think.
Yeah. Peter Warwick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Used to rock the Peter Warwick jersey. Okay.
What jerseys do you want to see?
I like the 80s, late 80s. I like the Boomer Esiason, Anthony Munoz one. I mean, I have one. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I feel like between those and the 90s, I guess early 90s, are not too much different. I feel like it really comes down to the pants, right? Is the main difference between those two.
Yeah. I mean, hot take. I don't like the stripes on the pants.
Yeah, I feel like that is a hot take.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you wanna investigate this rumor?
Sure.
Okay. So it's all because of one. Is Peyton Manning Southern? I was going to say because of one Southern man, one famous SEC quarterback wearing a certain jersey. First of all, how many collars does he have there? Good Lord. There's nothing more Southern, I think, than the double collar. You know?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of players. I feel like it might have been warm that day, but
you got the quarter zip plus the polo shirt, I assume, underneath a jersey. I mean, if that wasn't Peyton Manning, that could be like a middle manager of like a Buc-ee's somewhere. You know what I mean? It's just so Southern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got employee of the month written all over him. I can see the picture now.
You got the quarter zip, you got the polo, and then you got the jersey. Like, oh man, I'm late coming out of this meeting. Let me get to this football game. Let me put on a jersey, show that I'm down with the people. But then it's like basically the most famous quarterback ever. It's so weird. And then you got Zach Taylor, and then you got like this guy. And you got another one here.
Yeah, I mean,
the old Ken Anderson jersey. I mean,
I just don't like the helmets. Well, and the jersey, to be honest, but because it reminds me of the Browns too much. That's why if they did the throwback, I hope they don't do this.
Well, interesting that you say that. But did you know that the same guy who started the Browns also started the Bengals, and I think his favorite color was orange. So that would probably be the tie there,
right?
So,
but that's what I'm saying. It still looks too much like the Browns. That's why if they do the alternate, if they did the late 80s or 90s versions, I think that would be better.
No, I'm going to go the opposite. I want them to do it, and I wanted them to wear it when they play the Browns. And then the Browns should be wearing like their color rush jersey just to make everybody unhappy.
What is their color rush jersey?
I have no idea. Alternate? I have no idea.
If they do the alternate this year, which I'm assuming the announcement would have to be in July, late July probably. I don't think they would leak it like this. I think they would try to keep it under wraps, so that way it would be a little bit more of a shock.
Yeah, I think that they would want to keep it under wraps, but mistakes were made.
It's science, baby. That's fact.
No, if I had to guess, because they're doing that documentary through Netflix called Quarterback, I'm sure they're just doing like a backstory of Ken Anderson and how he was underrated. And I feel like maybe Peyton Manning might be, I guess, it's kind of like a nice gesture to the Bengals organization. Because I feel like there are some older NFL players that really want Kenny Anderson in the Hall of Fame. And I feel like maybe this is a way to get him.
I think everybody that's a football fan wants Ken Anderson in the Hall of Fame. No?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think this is more of like a salute to him and hopefully maybe get more eyes on him.
Yeah, but I like the helmet, as you can tell. I think that looks good.
I'm sure it'll look better once you actually see it on a more current jersey. And it with the today's NFL standards, even though
so I feel like the simpler the jersey, the better it looks on the big guys in the trenches. And I feel like too much of modern jersey culture is to look good on the skill players. And I want to see like uniforms made for the big guys, and then they look stupid on the receivers.
Well, the reason why I guess the original jerseys look bad to me is that there isn't any tie to the Bengals Tiger, and I think that's what the jerseys, I guess since the 80s, make them so unique, is that there's an actual direct tie to the mascot with the stripes, and I think that's what makes the uniform unique.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's unique, but at the same time, I like the simple, Yeah,
I mean, I would like to see it, though. I would like to see both versions if they could. I just want to see what it would look like in today's NFL. Because I'm sure.
So you know how they like how they're doing like the one rumor about the I don't know if it's a rumor. Is it confirmed that remember the Illinois helmets we were looking at where they look like leather helmets?
Yeah.
I heard that or saw somewhere, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, that the Packers are going to wear like leather helmet looking things, right?
For the Hall of Fame game or for
I don't know. I didn't read the article. Is that bad? Let me see if
I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, that'd be cool if they did something like that, but I feel like the NFL has always been too stingy when it comes to uniforms and having alternates. Like, I'm sure the Bengals wouldn't go all out even if they could, but I'm sure other teams would, and that would be kind of cool to see. Because I like how Ohio State and Oregon basically have different uniforms every game. I think that's kind of cool.
All right, I think I found it here. Let's see if we can go. So, according to ProLine Mockups, breaking news: Packers may have an airbrush leather alt helmet. So, first of all, reaction. Do you like that?
I mean, the concept's cool. That doesn't seem like a reliable source.
You like that?
Do you like that though?
Yeah, I said it was cool.
You like that?
All right. All right. I like it in concept. I don't like it in practice. But the real question is, what about a jersey that's like sublimated to look like fur? Like, what if it looked like actual tigers?
For the Bengals?
Yeah. What if they just went like full on? They just look like tigers.
Mm. I don't know if you could go like full on tiger print all the way through.
Like,
It'd be too much.
like these are the new helmets. Let's go, right? Why not, man?
I'm sure there's a way that could be kind of cool. I mean, isn't that kind of how the Jaguars is their helmet?
I mean, not like that, man. Look at that thing. Huh?
I guess my only thing about that is that it would seem too college.
But college is cool.
Yeah. I would have to see it first.
We're seeing it.
Well, that's not a real helmet.
I mean, you can make that into a helmet.
Yeah, but it's going to look a little bit different because you're not going to have the same like depth. Like, how would you do the ears?
I would just full on do the ears. I feel like the ears would be the easier part. The hard part would be the mouth. You know? But like maybe I would like take and go around and then have the ears and then have all the players wear like socks over their faces to do the rest. Is how I would do it.
Yeah, I'm
just
sure.
Full on tigers.
Cool,
just look like tigers.
I would rather see the inverted helmet before I saw something like that.
Yeah, I feel like the inverted helmet's happening.
But if that, well, I guess that could work because you could still do the inverted helmet, but plus still do the throwback 80s or 90s jerseys because it's the same striped helmet.
Mm-hmm. Or you could go with the white tiger. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sold. I would have to see more of a mock-up on like an actual helmet. If I could see,
I
like,
feel like we found our calling. We need to do it. We need to make a mock-up of like a full-on.
Someone has to have done that already. I mean, there has to be a college team or even a high school team that probably has that already.
Here you go. Here you go. This. Imagine the tunnel before the game, right? And then this happens. Boom. Joe Burrow. Those pink glasses comes in like that. Huh? Who
You're
says
talking
that?
about that's what the jerseys should look like or him pregame?
Both.
I think they should have those jackets in the sideline for like when it's cold. I think
That would be cool. Maybe we start there.
Yeah. Actually, that jacket doesn't look too bad. Normally, I would think some of those things look too flashy, but
Have you seen the ones with like the hoods that look like tiger faces and stuff? I saw them on Instagram, and I saw people at the game wearing them.
it's not like an actual NFL thing, though, is it?
No, just fans. But it's like a $500 coat. Okay, here you go. What about this? Huh? That's the uniform. That's the jersey.
Nah.
Full on, man. Full on.
That looks too much like Tony the Tiger to me. Like,
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Now you see what I'm saying.
I think that's too much.
It's not enough, if anything.
Nah, I just. And then I
And,
guess
and I feel like the
Starling
Bengals should
either.
play the Cowboys for that game, and they should be like full on like Cowboys, like cowboy hats and lassos and everything.
See, I thought you liked the simple jerseys.
I do, but I feel like if you're gonna go like literal, then you got to go like just 100% literal.
Well, I don't think it has to be that literal. I just think in having things incorporated in the jersey that actually relates to the logo is pretty cool. So having a few stripes makes sense, but I don't know if
I'm trying to find this
tiger
coat I saw on.
print.
Trying to find this thing. Oh, here we go. Okay. First of all, okay. So this is more like what I saw. This one. Would you first? Okay. Take out. You do this for the team. Would you wear that to a Bengals game?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Same. All right.
I would probably wear it more than just a Bengals game,
But this is what this is what I want the uniform to look like. Like this. Huh?
that's not even a uniform. That's just like a
That, like I want the like you
Working
print
version.
it on the jersey, make it look like that. That's what I want to see.
that's like a hoodie though.
No, more like this. Huh?
Nah, it's too silly.
Sorry, I got distracted. Look at this thing. This is beautiful. On a jean jacket? Huh?
It's a nice print.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Enough of that. What else you want to talk about?
Well, I guess just the off season in general. For me, I guess with the Hendrickson thing kind of coming up the last couple of weeks, and it seems like more people are. Well, if you're on Twitter, people are freaking out. And I don't know, when I kind of look at it, I feel like people are kind of jumping the gun a little bit. I think people are kind of downplaying extending T. Higgins and Chase and how big of a deal that is, and even getting Gesicki back was a big deal because then you bring in stability for Burrow,
Mm-hmm.
or at least his top three options. And it sounds like Yoshi and Burton might actually have a little bit of a competition on the wide receiver 3. That kind of looks like the inside of their Ring of Honor jacket. I actually like those jackets. Those are pretty slick.
I haven't seen those.
The
All right.
Ring of Honor jackets?
Mm-mm. I haven't. Or maybe I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It's just
Okay.
it's like a black jacket on the outside, and then it's just got like the tiger print on the inside.
Yeah. Dude, that's like a $36 blazer.
Ugh.
I feel like someone's going to be spending $72 real soon. We could class up our podcast if we both wore those blazers.
I don't know. That just seems too cheap to me.
It does seem too cheap, but it's on Amazon.
But I guess if you're only going to wear it on a stream, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I just don't know if it would be like something you would actually wear to anywhere, because I feel like that cheap, the material is probably going to suck. Most likely.
Comes in sizes small, medium, large, extra large, double XL, 3XL, 4XL, and 5XL. Suitable for most weights. That's us. We're most weights.
Yeah.
I've I'm gonna send one of those to our houses right now. You're going to Amazon. All right, so what? Okay, so you said a lot of things about the offseason. Topic one: people are downplaying the re-signing of T. Higgins.
Well, I think it's just one of those things where until they actually re-sign Hendrickson, which seems like it's most likely they will, then they won't, even if he holds out a little bit, which I think they're going to try to prevent that as much as possible. I think most people will start to come around at that point because you'll just kind of have clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like the Bengals had to do too much in the offseason. Now, I think to me the biggest criticism, if you want to do that or go down that road, would probably be at the guard position, because I think maybe not signing a veteran outside of that Patrick guy that they signed, but he's more of a depth piece. He doesn't seem like a serious starter. I think that could be a valid reason of concern or criticism, however you want to play it. But outside of that, I feel like they've added a lot of really good depth pieces or even starters, or even brought back some of the guys like BJ Hill and I think Osai, because Osai really started to come around towards the end of the year. And then with Al Golden and how he's going to mix things up. Also, I guess I could see them bringing in maybe another safety, because I feel like there's a few out there that you could probably get in for a pretty good deal that could potentially be an upgrade, or at the very least another depth piece if someone were to get injured, because at that point we would be really thin. But yeah, I think with the big three, Chase, T, and Hendrickson, I think people are kind of going overboard because all three haven't been secured. And I mean, it seems like it's such an obvious play that you would keep your top or three of your top five players if you have an opportunity to. And the Bengals have plenty of cap space to do it. But I can also see both sides. It seems like from Hendrickson's position, which it's his agent's fault that they're even in this position, I feel like, because they signed the deal too early to extend. Because I think that's pretty much where the holdup is now that he wants the new contract to kind of overcompensate and what he didn't get on the previous extension. And it really doesn't work like that in the NFL, and especially from the Bengals point of view, because it's just not how they operate. Maybe if it was like the Browns or even like the Eagles, where they don't mind spending cash and they have the cash flow to do it, Hendrickson would most likely be resigned if they were in that, if those organizations were in the Bengals situation right now. But I also think the Bengals know that they need to bring him back, especially with who they drafted within the first 3 rounds. I guess you could even say the first 4 rounds, because they got the 2 linebackers and Shamar Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
That they were definitely looking on the defensive side. And I think that's something that you've been saying that the Bengals should do, and what you've seen the Chiefs do is just basically spend all your money or majority of your money on offense, get that secured, and then you pretty much have to draft defense and make sure you have pretty good amount of players coming in from the draft to kind of secure up on the other side of the ball, which it seems like they're doing that. I think the biggest surprise, especially with this draft, was that they double dipped at linebacker. I think most people thought they would most likely double dip on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of...
Don't you think that means that they're changing the way they're going to play defense?
Yes.
That they're just going to play more linebackers? Because like the guys they drafted are like tall, fast guys. And I feel like the guys that they have are not quite as fast.
Yeah, I think it seems like there's going to be more linebackers in general that are playing throughout the game. So
like they're going to be more like 3-4.
That or just 4-3. I mean,
yeah, because they play like a lot of nickel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like their base was primarily nickel, right? Because they went like a few years where they had hardly any linebackers even on the roster.
Yeah, so, I think it's been like that the last couple of years, really. I think the last couple of years, there's only been 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost seems like they could have 6 this year. But it also seems kind of weird that they haven't released Pratt. I think partly because I think technically Knight Jr. hasn't signed his deal yet. And I bet as soon as he signs his deal, I think that would be the point that they release Pratt.
Really?
I'm assuming that's probably what they're doing. It's just, I guess, being on the cautious side.
Or maybe they want to have 4 linebackers.
That would be interesting because I don't know based off of who they have on their front, their defensive line right now, if they could just fully transition to like a 3-4.
Well, I don't know that they want to fully transition, but I feel like it's like a scheme change that's like real subtle that nobody knows what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Because say like you want to play a lot more 4-3 even, right?
Yeah.
Then you can't just have 3 linebackers that can play. Don't you need like 4 guys that can play? If your base is 3 guys on the field, then you want to have like 4 guys that you can rotate in, right?
And I think that's basically what they have right now. If you're just looking at who they drafted and who they already have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they would have like what,
yeah.
five linebackers.
Because they got the guy from the Eagles, and he seems like
that's right.
He could potentially be a starter, and also a really good depth piece. But I think he's going to be a guy where he's going to surprise a few people. Well, I don't know. It seems like some people that really looked into it see that he's kind of has like that Hendrickson potential where he didn't play a lot early on in his career, but the times that he was able to start, he's really like shown something. So he could be kind of like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just don't want. I like Pratt both as a player, but
yeah,
like, just makes me sad to think that they're going to cut him.
Yeah, I think the problem with last year was that the Bengals in general, especially on defense, had to deal with a lot of injuries. And I think he was just in a situation where he was probably on the field more than what he would normally been. And if he
I think they just got exposed because they played too many plays.
Yeah. But
I mean, that's like my central theory on defense, right? Is that like based on who you start with at the beginning of the season, your defense only has like a certain number of plays that they can play, right? And if you use it up, then they no longer are effective, right? So it's like if your defense is on the field like 25% more than they should be game 1, then like you're going to start paying the price, game 12, game 13, game 14, where like your guys are just shot, right? And I feel like because you see it, right? Pratt, like they say, missed a lot of tackles. I mean, who's the other linebacker
that played or got hurt? Wilson got hurt.
Wilson got hurt. I think it's the same thing. I think it's just like guys had to play too many downs because the defense did not have any defensive linemen in the first 3 or 4 games. And then because of that, they had to play 10 extra plays, 15 extra plays a game. And when you start to get towards the end of the year, guys get hurt. Guys are missing plays that they normally make because they're banged up. They're step slow. They're just worn out, right?
And I think there's going to be, just from the front 7, from that perspective, I think they got people that can blitz a little bit more. And that's one of the things I'm definitely excited about Al Golden is that I think he's going to mix up some of the blitz packages.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, if you're going to blitz, right, you need guys that can blitz, but also guys that can cover, right?
Yeah, and those were
you got to hide things.
The guy that they pick off in the offseason, and Wilson can kind of do that already.
Yeah.
And then with Shamar Stewart, I think that's another key thing is that he is like one of those people that you could probably put anywhere on the defensive line or even put him in like kind of like a linebacker position and still have him blitz or whatever you need him to do.
Yeah, or have him like start at the end and then drop
Cam
into
Sample
coverage, right?
is even kind of like that. Or
Yeah.
even Osai, they're like sneaky athletic.
Well, I don't know if Osai. Well, I mean, he did intercept that pass from Burrow back in the day, but yeah, no, I think that's part of it. I think that they want
to kick him
to.
inside and have some success where he can create a little bit of pressure from like the
Oh,
defense.
okay, I see what
I'm
you're
just
saying.
saying, being a little bit versatile. So
Right, they need guys.
They're going to surprise some of the teams just because Al Golden's going to mix up where the pressure is coming from. So it's just
right.
And
So
they've
it's
already shown in
almost like
OTAs
the old school 3-4, right? Where you
that
have
they're starting to
guys
work on like stunts and stuff and things that they don't really, or they didn't really do like the stunts and twist like they under what's his face? I can't even think of his name. He went to
Dick
Indianapolis.
LeBeau.
No, basically. Oh my God, what's his name? Amarillo? No.
Amarillo?
Yeah, Amarumo, or whatever his name is.
Lou?
Lou.
You don't remember Lou?
I just couldn't think of his name. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm already on
that's
the
all
Al
right.
Golden train. I'm really bad with names in general. But yeah, no, I just think they're going to mix it up a little bit more. And I think that's going to be to the Bengals' advantage because it's going to be some of the things that our division rivals are not going to be used to at a certain point. I'm sure after, throughout the year, as the year goes, they're going to pick up on things. And
well, you know, like their offense is so good, right? That I think that you can play like a defense that takes chances. Like your scheme could be one that takes chances. Because if you give up a big play, it's not as big of a deal. What you don't want is teams be able to grind you down, right? Because the Bengals, if you show up, you're like, hey, we're going to have a track meet shootout. It's just like the Bengals are like, yeah, we'll probably win that game, right? The game that they struggle with is we're going to hold the ball for, 75% of the game, and we're just going to run it every single play, right? Because then the offense can't get going, right? But once the Bengals offense gets going, it's hard to stop it. So if you have a defense that's going to take some chances, get some turnovers, maybe you give up a big player here or two, but like not let the other team control time of possession, I feel like that's a good match. But I agree in the sense that I was also surprised that the Bengals double dipped at linebacker. And I just take it as a signal that they're changing something significantly about like how they do it. I don't know what it's going to be, but I mean, obviously it involves more linebackers. Because,
it's how they're going to blitz from the front seven is the way I look at it.
Right, they're going to have more linebackers blitzing.
Yeah.
Instead
But
of
also
dropping into
the same
coverage.
those linebackers they drafted, they could also drop in coverage too.
Right, right. But they want guys who can, like, they just seem bigger and faster than what we have.
Yes.
Right. Like Pratt and Wilson are both like 4'6" kind of guys.
No, I think Pratt is actually the same speed as Knight Jr., the guy that they drafted. They're almost like, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could assume maybe he got a little bit slower, but or at the very least the same speed. But
yeah,
I think where they gain
I
advantage.
don't think Pratt was a 4'3" guy though. I thought Knight Jr. was like a 4'3". No,
I think they both ran a 4.4.
4'4".
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see.
All right, pull it up.
40. Clicked on the wrong page. Okay.
Pauline, give me some of your tots.
No, go find your own.
Drum
Okay,
roll.
they're 4.5.
They're both 4'5".
Yeah, because I think I looked this up before, and I was like, they're basically the same speed. Yeah, so Knight Jr. was 4.5. Hold on. Yeah, I think yes, because Pratt was like a 4.57 is what they said at the combine, and then Junior was like a 4.54, something like that. So they're basically the same speed. But I think if anything, Junior probably provides a little bit more athleticism because I think he definitely has advantage when it comes to certain coverage schemes. But at the same time, if we think about Pratt, he's had some really clutch interceptions, especially one that sealed.
I feel like Pratt is a game winner. I feel like he's a guy that helps you win games. And
yeah,
I know that like the knock on him was that he missed a lot of tackles in the season, but I just feel like it was because he played too many downs. Like I don't mean it. I don't think it's an indictment on him being able to play. It's just like the defense at the beginning of the year couldn't get off the field, and Pratt played the whole year.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, like how many guys on the team played as many downs as him? Like hardly anybody, right? I mean, he played the whole season.
He definitely led the team in tackles, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, just like plays, right? Like he wasn't hurt all season. Like the guys on the defensive line did not play in the first 3 or 4 games, and then Wilson got hurt. Like Pratt was there the whole season. So I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it to me. It's like kind of like in Cincinnati. It's like Adam Dunn 2.0, right? It's just like the culture of Cincinnati sports fans is like you look at someone who's good and then people just wreck them for not being great, right? And it's just like sometimes people are good players, right? They're not like Hall of Fame players, but they're like really good players. You don't make good teams by getting rid of your good players, right? Like you don't get mad at a guy because he's not like an all-pro. It's like he's still good. Like fix the guys that are not good players. That's how you get better, right? You replace your worst player with someone who's good. That improves you. To try to improve over Pratt is harder because he was good. And I feel like if he played less downs, he would play even more effectively. So I'm interested to see what happens. I hope that Pratt sticks around. I hope that they keep him. I think the fact that they haven't cut him, to me, and it's coming from the perspective of I hope he stays, is that like I think it's a signal that they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I think they're waiting on one or two things. It's either the Knight Jr. contract,
but for what reason? How does that make your team better?
Well, if he doesn't sign a contract or in time, or if he happens to get hurt, well, you still have your linebacker.
No. Like, why would you cut him? At the point in time when you cut him, there's nothing to do with the money.
Well, it could go to Hendrickson too.
That's not gonna happen.
I still think it's in play. I don't.
No.
What do you mean? Them not re-signing Hendrickson or using the money for Hendrickson?
Using the money for Hendrickson. Hendrickson has like boxed himself in.
Yeah, I think they're going to meet in the middle somewhere.
No, they're not.
I feel like it's going to happen. Just based off some of the reports.
He's stuck. He can't get what he wants. Right? Because we looked at the cap. Or not the cap. We looked at the franchise tag.
Yeah.
Who else on the team could get a franchise tag applied to him?
That would be worth it?
Yeah.
Possibly one of the corners.
No.
I mean, it could be, but...
I mean, realistically, none of those guys are going to sign for more than what the franchise tag is. They're all going to sign for less than the franchise tag for a corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, his salary's set for next year, which is below market. And then they can just franchise tag him twice, right? So that's his ceiling, is franchise tag.
Yeah.
So you can move the money around, but like basically the maximum contract he can extract is this year's salary plus franchise tag plus the second year franchise tag, right? That's his ceiling, and it's not what he's asking for, right? Because it wasn't like isn't the franchise number for a defensive end like 23 or 24?
No, it's probably higher than that, but still much lower than what the actual market value is.
Yeah. Because it's the average of the top 10, and he's a top
I bet it's
5.
like 28, 26 or
Yeah,
28.
I'm going to Google it.
Can you share your screen real quick, and then while you're doing that, I need to run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll share it. So the 2026 projected franchise tag is $26 million. And I'm trying to think of how much Trey Hendrickson is asking for. Because I want to say, like, I heard he was trying to get in the 30s, and it's just, like, not possible. Yeah. So Max Crosby got 35.5. But like Trey just doesn't have that leverage because the franchise tag is 26.5. And he's already, what's he signed for? So his cap number so he's getting 19 in 2025. So it just doesn't make sense. Cuz like 19 and then it went up. So it's going to be 26.5 in 2026, and then I think if you franchise
It's 26 million.
Okay, here you go. You're back. Okay.
Sorry.
So next year he makes, say, 19, right?
Okay.
And then the projected 2026 franchise tag is 26.5. Right?
Wait, he's only signed through this year, though, right?
Yeah, he signed through 2025.
Okay.
So if you franchise tag him, it would be the 2026 number.
Okay.
The 2025 number is 22 million.
Okay.
So the following year would be 26.5 if they franchise tagged him. So that's 27, right? So the average between 19 and 27 is 23. And he wants like 30. There's just no way. Right? And like, what's the thing if you franchise tag someone 2 years in a row?
I also find it kind of interesting the coverage that they have for the Bengals from the national media versus like the Steelers.
Okay, so the second time a player is tagged, they receive a 120% raise over the previous season. So $1.2 times, what would we say, is 27 million?
Yeah, basically.
32 million. Right? So 32 plus 19, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 2, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals 78.4 divided by 3 equals 26. There's just, he can't get in the 30s. It's just not possible. Right?
Yeah, that's why I go back to his. It's to me, it's his agent's fault for not.
Yeah, because if
Understanding
he
the
was a
market.
free agent this year, yeah, maybe, right?
Well, he should have known that because it was the same offseason that Bosa reset the market, and everyone knew that Bosa was going to reset the market, but Hendrickson signed his deal like several weeks before that happened.
Yeah.
And had they waited a month, his numbers would have been drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to me, that's just really bad awareness on his agent. Like his
Yeah,
agent,
because I mean, like market value, sure, he should get more, but his actual value is set by the leverage that he has over the team, and
well, he doesn't now.
he's what, the third best player on the team.
Yeah,
So they've already signed long term number 1, number 2, and number 4. He's stuck. You know? Like the Bengals re-signing Higgins and Chase meant that Hendrickson got screwed in the contract negotiation, right?
I mean, kind of, but it seems like it was already written, like based off of what you're saying, which makes the most sense.
No,
Maybe-
because say Jamar Chase didn't re-sign, then the Bengals are like, oh, we gotta sign Hendrickson because we gotta use the franchise tag on Chase. Then Hendrickson could have got his 30-something million, but because Burrow's under contract, Chase is under contract. I mean,
Yeah,
I think if
but
you had to choose between Higgins or Hendrickson, you pick Hendrickson. But even Higgins is under contract. There's no one else on the team that even approaches the value of Hendrickson anymore that's not signed. So he's stuck because he signed for next year for 19 when probably worth 30-ish, 30 plus. But then the following year they can franchise him for 27. And then the following year they can franchise him for, what do we say again?
34.
34. And he wants an average annual value of 35. It's just not possible.
Yeah, I think that's where their flaw is that you
Because he wants that guaranteed, and it's just like the Bengals are like, the average annual value we have to give you for the next 3 years, 26, and we don't have to take any risks because if you stink, we don't have to pay you anymore, right?
yeah.
And even if, and conceivably they can franchise tag him 3 times, right?
Well, that's most likely not going to happen because at that point, then that would be closer to like 40 million, which I doubt.
But but in 3 years for a top defensive end, is 40 million going to be crazy?
Yeah, at his age, I would say because at that point he would be closer to the 33, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if he's good,
Yeah.
I mean, they might be able to sign him for less, but that's going to set his cap. His maximum value is 40.
I guess the TJ
But,
Watt
like,
situation could affect it a little bit too. That's why I was saying it's kind of interesting how like the national media looks at the Bengals versus like the Steelers, which they haven't really talked about TJ Watt situation that much, but it seems like he's probably going to hold out a little bit because he also wants a contract extension. I'm sure similar to um what's his face guy in Cleveland. I don't think he'll get the record-setting deal.
Myles Garrett?
Yeah, I think he'll get probably close to it, but I don't think he's going to set a new bar. I think the next.
Yeah, but the thing with Myles Garrett is he might be better than Trey Hendrickson.
I think overall, if you just look at what all he can do, like to me, Garrett is just as good as the pass rush as he is in run defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you could pretty much line him up anywhere on the defensive line if you really wanted to. So, plus, I think he's a little bit younger, right? Maybe by 2 or 3 years. But I know he's getting up there too. He's been in the league for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say he's
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
gonna look
28.
him up. Sorry, it's giving me an ad. Here we go. Myles Garrett.
30.
So,
See? Damn.
it's 30.
Same age as Hendrickson.
So average per year is 40. Yeah. But really, it's just a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah.
Because they could cut him.
What was his signing bonus, though?
4-year, 160. 123.5 is guaranteed. $21 million signing bonus.
Okay. I mean, low key, that was kind of a smart move by the Browns because it's like it reset the market for a lot of
This
players.
chart's different. I haven't seen this before.
I guess that updates as time goes on.
Yeah. I feel like it's only really a 3-year deal, right?
It looks like it because
There we go.
by the 4th year they can actually save money. So yeah.
Well, it's the you gotta look at the dead money. So dead money is 13 if they cut him pre-June 1st on 2028. But then what is this? So it's a 4-year 160. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's really a 3-year deal, and then they split the difference on the 4th year. Or wait a minute.
Yeah,
his
I'd be shocked if
salary.
he actually plays out this whole contract.
Okay, so 29 and 20 and 29 and 30 are the years that he's going to get cut, right? Because it's 38 and 38. So he must have already been signed for like these years.
Oh yeah.
Because like these years are the ones that they're just, and these are void years. I don't really understand how they work. Options. So really, it's just 26, 27, 28 are the years that they're actually going to, that they actually both think he's going to play. So his cap number is going to be 21, 23, 28, and 30. And then the years where his cap number is 62.
Yeah.
And they can have dead cap of 4 million and save 57.9 million.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I think he even can get cut in 28, really.
Yeah, he could get cut in 28 if he stinks. But there's no way he's getting this.
Right.
So like this year and this year. So it's really 1, 2, 3, right? I wish they would show you how much she's getting. So guaranteed salary is 2.25. But he's also getting 19. Oh, here you go. Maybe it's the cap number? I don't know. What's a good way to estimate it? So he's going to get like 31 and then 30. So really, that's like the ceiling, right? Because this is the top defensive end salary. And really, he's getting 31.5. 30 and then 30. And then this 62 and 57 is just never happening.
Yeah, no, I think he gets cut by 28.
Yeah, or they just redo it, right? Like this 29 thing is never going to happen.
Nah, I think he's most likely going to get cut. I mean, because I mean, he would at that point he would have to take like a drastic pay cut at 33.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. It's interesting that the Browns did that. But
It's not a bad move. I mean,
It's
30
not.
million. If you told me, okay, Myles Garrett, you get him for basically, what is this?
And to be fair, he's most likely going to be worth it. So it's like it's not.
It's
much
basically
risk.
3 years at 90 million.
I think you got to look at the cash number, not the cap number.
Well, where's the cash number?
I don't know.
His base salary is 1 plus 16, 17.
Because the cap
plus
number is
6
just basically
23, 24, 25 million in cash, right? And then 27 is 1 plus 12. So 13 plus 14 is 27, 28, 29. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 18 is 28, 30. So it's basically 30 million a year. Right? All these monies added up.
well, here.
2022.
Well, what was he scheduled to make initially?
I don't know. History?
Here you go, cash.
Oh, here you go. Cash paid. 22, 22, 22, 19, 17, 20.
Here you go, 25.
So 25 this year, 33 next year. And then 2027 he gets 42. But so the year he's supposed to get 42 is 27. Yeah, so they can't cut him in 27. So basically 27 he's going to get 42 million. And then this 28 is probably not going to happen.
It would be 27 if he's wanting to like finish his career in the Browns, is where he would probably restructure. That would make the most sense. But he's most likely going to get cut in 28.
Yeah, this 28 is the year because the dead money and the cap savings is basically equal.
Yeah, and I feel like you can still get a lot for 16 million. So it's like,
but then it's like, if he's still Myles Garrett in 2027, then you just pay him, right?
well, that's true, yeah.
Because like
Especially
the
at
way
that
the
rate.
franchise tag is going is like, it's 22, 26, it's 26. So that's a 4 million jump. So just assume it's the same for 27. It's going to be 30 million to franchise tag someone. So if Myles Garrett's still playing like Myles Garrett in 27, wait, is this the history? Yeah. Then in 27, you just give him his 42. Right? Because the cap hit's only 27. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then these 3 years are just not going to happen. But even if, so really this is like, they split the risk, right? If Myles Garrett's still good, then the Browns pay a little extra to keep him, right? It's a little bit higher than what probably market value would be for the equivalent. But then if he's still Myles Garrett, there's no equivalent. But then if he sucks, right, then they've gotten out because they could cut him and it's only $13 million dead money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the play, right? So what does that tell us about Trey Hendrickson?
Well, I think I don't know. I still feel like they're going to meet in the middle. I mean, I think he's going to get.
So Myles Garrett is getting 3 years, right? Before he's perfectly cuttable.
Well, how far does his guaranteed money go into? I think that's really where the holdup is.
No, look here. Here, look, it's 0.
Is that the guaranteed money?
Yeah.
So he still has guaranteed money through
3 years.
Yeah.
25, 26, 27. Hendrickson signed for 25. Bengals can franchise him in 26 and in 27 at more favorable terms than Trey Hendrickson or than Myles Garrett. Right? So instead of 25 million in 25, they give him 19. Instead of 32 million in 26, they give him, what does it say?
Basically
27. Right? And instead of 42, they give him 40. Right? He's boxed himself in. There's just nothing. He has no leverage.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is that
He gave
only
up all
leverage he
his
has
leverage.
is sitting out, but then it delays. Like it
He
does
has
kill him
that
'cause he's
sitting out
already
is not
older.
leverage.
Yeah, I know. It's only leverage when you're younger and you're going into your second contract extension,
Right.
third. But yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I feel like most of the stuff will probably be resolved by the end of July. I feel like.
Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
knowing what we know, basically the best he can do is to move the money into like a signing bonus, right?
well,
Right.
I think
Like if your total value is going to be the same, then you want to have as much money now as you can get, right? But like the total value of the contract is 19 plus 27 plus 40. So 67
no, it's
plus 19.
No, what? No, I think he's supposed to get 22 this year, right?
It said 19.
Well, yeah, I think technically his cap hit is 22 though. Wait, are we talking about Garrett or Hendrickson?
Hendrickson.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, 18.
So 19. So 19 plus 27
34.
plus 40.
No, 34.
What?
It's 34.
What's 34?
I guess 2027, right? With 120% increase from 26. It's 34. Or,
32.
sorry, 32.
So that's it. So it's 32 plus 27. What was that? 60 plus 19. So 80. So 80 divided by 3 equals. So his average annual value is like pegged at 27.
I think that's basically what the Bengals offered him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like the Bengals are cheap, but they know what they're doing. They know how to negotiate.
Yeah, that's why it's such a big win for them to get that extension done so early, because I think they knew the market was going to just. I mean, I think everyone knew.
Yeah,
wasn't
everyone.
really shocked.
Yeah, I mean, like, so for him to try to get in the 30s is just, in terms of average annual value, is just.
Yeah, because I think the flaw in his thinking is that you can't recoup money from previous contracts. Like you just signed a bad deal. You have to take your lumps. Like you should be mad at your agent, if anything. Like
This year is the year that he screwed up.
it wasn't this year; it was 2 years ago.
Well, I mean,
When he signed the
adding the making this year him being under contract is the year that he screwed up.
Yeah,
Because if Trey was a free agent this year, the Bengals would have to franchise tag him, which means that he would be getting 22, which is $3 million more, right? And then he would have like the automatic bump up to 27, and then he'd be a free agent again. So the Bengals would be like, well, do we want to just have one more year of Trey Hendrickson, or do we want to sign him for 3 years, right?
mm-hmm. See, I think the Bengals are probably willing to do the 3-year deal, but I think the holdup is always going to be the guaranteed money, because they'll do the 3-year deal, but all the guaranteed money is going to be gone by the first year.
Yeah, but I've been hearing that he wants in the 30s, And just our simple math shows that he has to be in the 27 is his cap. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I think the Bengals are going to kind of meet in the middle and just be like, hey, we're going to give you a little bit extra, even though we don't have to, but this is like our gesture.
I don't think they will. Why would they do that?
Because they want to get him in, get it
They
done.
don't need to. He's going to have to show up if he wants his 19.
Yeah, but I think he's actually willing to sit out, though.
I don't think he is. Just too old to sit out.
I don't know. I just, for whatever
Because
reason.
if he sits out, he's still under contract.
Yeah, that's why I think as time gets closer to the season, I think late July, I think is a good time. Because, like, I mean, at that point, like,
He's going to sign at the Bengals number. What they're going to do is they're going to do the real years are going to average out to 27, like we just did the math for. And then there's going to be some BS years tacked onto the end where he's making like $80 million a year, but none of it's guaranteed. And then, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So then his agent will get to claim an average value of over 30, but it won't be real. He'll just be getting his 27, whatever the Bengals number is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever they need to do, I hope they
That's
get
how they're going to meet in the middle. Is he's going to take their number and then they're going to add on a fake year at the end at like some astronomical number that he'll never get.
Mhm.
That'll make the math look like he's getting like 33 a year. Right? So 6 times 3 is 18.
Yes.
So that means that his last year will be like 45 million.
Yeah.
So he'll get like a 3-year extension for like, you know, what's that math? 54, 74, 81 plus, what do we say? 40? So like 120. They'll announce it as like a 4-year 120 deal. But really it's going to be a 3-year 27 average. Because that's a significant risk for the Bengals, because the 27 million average is taking no risk as a franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he has to perform to be worthy of being franchised. If he plays bad for a year, they don't have to pay him the next year.
Right.
So it's almost like the fair thing would be he'd have to take a discount off of 27. So even offering him 27 a year is like generous.
Yeah, I just think he's got a really bad agent. Like, I just feel like all this was common sense.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have been
and
able
to
to
be
predict
fair,
this.
all this being said is I think that he's worthy of being paid like as much, you know, like in the 30s, right? Like I think he's performed well enough. I think he's a good
Yeah, he
enough
should
player.
be around like top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is just talking numbers and like the rules. Like in terms of a player, yeah, he's worth 35. But in terms of like the leverage and the way the contracts and the rules of the NFL are set up, I just don't see how he has the leverage to get more than 27, even though clearly he's worthy of making 35 million a year easily, right? But that's not how it works.
Yeah, yeah. Based off of what he has currently, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like as a player, he's like one of my favorite Bengals of all time. He's like a great player.
Yeah, and that's why they whatever they got to do to make it look good, and I think that's part of it too. He just doesn't want to feel like he got, which he did.
He's always going to feel like he got, but but it's more because of the way the NFL's set up, right? Like it's just unfair that if you are a dude who gets drafted late I just feel like you never make up that money the way the NFL set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the only reason Myles Garrett's making more money than Trey Hendrickson is because Myles Garrett was a number 1 pick.
Right.
The number 1 pick. So he's always been in the premium, right? And if you're a dude drafted in the 4th or 5th round and you show out and you're like, great, you never make up that money. And it's just garbage, you know? Because it's like better players can get paid less just because they're drafted later, right? And I feel for them because it's really unfair. But at the same time, those are the rules, and it sucks.
And that's why I go back to the agent, because I feel like this would have never happened to Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow, because I felt like...
Yeah, but again, those are top picks. They have the leverage. The rules are set up to favor the top picks. If you are a guy who's a mid-round pick who the league missed on, it's hard to make up that money.
No, I agree with that, but what also you could tell, like, when they were going through their contract stuff, is that they were more aware of like the projections, because even there was an interview with Joe Burrow, and I think it was one of the podcasts, and he knew exactly what his tag number, the 5th-year option, like this was like a year before that was going to happen.
Dude, we knew.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff to me is like kind of obvious. So like,
yeah, I mean, we should have been Trey Hendrickson's agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think
maybe we should be agents.
Maybe that's the middle ground. He should just find a way to fire his agent.
To hire us?
Well, no, just to sign the contract by himself. Get a little bit of help from like the NFLPA or whatever. And that way you're not paying the agent such a high fee, and you can keep...
I've always wondered about that. Like, why do you need an agent?
I think it just comes down to like a lot of the language in the contract. I think if you have a really savvy agent, you could put a lot of stipulations or
No, it doesn't make any sense. Like the most expensive lawyers in the country are like, I don't know, like $1,000 an hour, $10,000 an hour. Like you're talking about NFL contract. Can't be that complicated. We understand it. How hard is it, right?
Right.
I mean, like, is that 2 weeks worth of work? Say it's 2 weeks worth of work.
Well, I think part of the problem is that all the salaries are public, right?
No, it's a benefit.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if you're a lawyer, even if, like, you wouldn't do it for that much cheaper if you knew that was the going rate. If you make
I do it for $10,000 an hour.
Yeah, but then are you going to have the negotiating power against an NFL team? Like, are you going to know like
the negotiating power is set by the value of the player?
I think there's a little bit more to that, but I mean,
no, I don't think so.
I think it's the ultimate.
I don't think it does. I don't think it matters. Who's the player? Like the percentages that the agents take just seems obscene to me.
What is it like?
It's like I don't know what it is. It's like a percentage of the value, though. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
It should just be based on, I don't know, like generally lawyers charge, I mean, you know, like some people charge for, like, you know, like you got like your, what do they call it? Some lawyers charge like, hey, if I lose, I get 0. If I win, I get 40%, right? Contingency attorneys, I think, can get up to like 40%. But like that's like if they're wrong, if they lose, they get 0, right? Mm-hmm. But most people are paid by the hour. And I just don't think it takes that much time to negotiate with the Bengals, right? I mean, how many hours is that?
I don't know.
I think that's the answer. I think Trey Hendrickson should fire his agent, hire us to be his new agent, right? It was like, Trey, we can only get you 27 million a year average, but we will only charge you $1,000 an hour to review the contract terms, right? So you'll save, right? So instead of paying your guy like, $3 million, you're going to pay us like $100,000. You're going to come out in the end, right? So you'll make up the money you lost on your bad agent by just paying us by the hour, right?
What is 3% of 80 million? Hold on.
It's like 2.4.
Oh yeah, 2.4 million. Yeah.
Yeah, see? He'll save $2.3 million by hiring us to be his agent.
That could be the difference.
Yeah, I'll even do it for half. We'll do it for $50,000, Trey.
There
But
you
you're
go.
only getting $27 million a year. Sorry.
This is a 30-day offer. Your time starts.
But you only have to pay us $50,000. So, effectively, it's like a raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
There you go. Problem solved. All right. Well, was there anything you wanted to add to this, or should we close it up?
The offer is open to anybody else as well. We'll do it on the cheap. You want cheap NFL agents and you're a Bengals player, we'll hook you up.
We just charge a flat fee of $50,000.
Yeah, sure. First three players. After that, we'll have to reevaluate our business plan.
There you go.
Yeah. But if you want to get it on the ground floor, we will set you up. We will not get you the most money. We will get you a fair amount, but you'll save so much by paying us peanuts that, bang, you will have more money in your bank account.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. Just pay your attorneys less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.